What's going on, Jerome's? So I know this isn't Viking specific, but we had to weigh in on the Jaguars kicking Urban Meyer to the curb after only 13 games because it's hilarious. It's amazing. Urban Meyer is the first NFL head coach not to finish out his first season on the job since gutless Bobby Petrino. Y'all remember him? Mike Zimmer was his DC in Atlanta. Back in the day. And with Urban, I thought, hey, maybe this could work. The guy's a proven winner at Florida and Ohio State, plus Jacksonville, Gainesville, not too far apart, so there's already a built-in fan base / buzz. You got Trevor Lawrence, but I did not expect him to be such an aloof, just wow. Like, he was completely outcoached every single game, and he was in way over his head. He did not have control over the organization, and he was just an a-hole. He was just a dick shit. He was just a bully. He was just everything. He was all that stuff. It was just, wow. Wow. And what we said before, winning is a clone that covers up a lot of stink, right? And it applies to everything, especially coaching, because you know that Urban Meyer was the same D-bag at Ohio State and Florida and Utah and Bowling Green and probably his other assistant coaching stops as well. But it didn't matter because you were winning games. And if the Jaguars were 11-2 as opposed to 2-11, none of this stuff comes to light. And he's probably easily still in a job. Maybe they're even talking extension. Who really knows? But My Sports Update put together a list of all the nonsense that went on during Urban Meyer's very brief tenure with the Jaguars. We wanted to run through because some of these are phenomenal. And I forgot about a couple of these. So first off, he hired Chris Doyle. Doyle does not rule. The team's director of sports performance, Doyle was accused of making racist comments and belittling players during his time at Iowa. After heavy backlash, Doyle resigned. So it wasn't even up to Urban Meyer. Urban didn't even step up and say, hey, I made a mistake. I'm going to take ownership of this situation. Chris Doyle is no longer with the team. We're going to move in a different direction. Doyle had to step up because that's how gutless Urban Meyer is. All right, and I want to be a fly on the wall where Zimmer has truthful conversation about Bobby Petrino and also his thoughts on Urban Meyer. I want that, like, not a press conference setting because everything has to be hermetically sealed, but I want the honest assessment. Also, he signed Tebow as a tight end. Like 97-year-old Tim Tebow, fresh out of the Mets Double-A organization. He's coming in, trying to play tight end. He was horrible. He made business decisions trying to make blocks, and he took up a roster spot from a kid who could actually make it in the league. All right. How would you like to be a 21, 22-year-old UDFA tight end who could make a practice squad, but you're like, oh, I didn't get a job because of PR? Also, they drafted a running back, Travis Etienne, out of Clemson in the first round, despite having James Robinson on the roster. Last year, stud UDFA out of Illinois State came and ran for 1,000 yards. Like, hey, you're good at running back. Hey, you got Trevor Lawrence as your number 1 overall pick. How about getting him some protection? Huh? How about that when you had 2 first-round picks? How about that? Now, I understand that the idea was to turn Etienne into a wide receiver, but why? Why? There's so many good offensive linemen still on board. So many different ways you could go. Etienne ended up a season-ending injury anyway. So, and you had James Robinson, right? And also, he also openly admitted that he was hoping to draft Kadarius Toney with the pick they used on Etienne. So Toney went to the Giants. Tony, former Gator. So there's some connection there. Of course, like we said, Gainesville, Duval, very close, all that stuff. So I openly talk about, hey, I wish we had another player as opposed to this guy. How do you think that makes that guy feel, huh? That's why every single time GMs, coaches, they have to lie about their draft pick. He is the guy that we wanted all along. We were hoping that he fell, even though MF, we didn't want you. I told you this is amazing. This is a great way to start Thursday. Let's see what else here. Told reporters that they had to cut players due to their vaccine status. NFL opened up an investigation on those comments. NFLPA, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of teams did do that because the best ability is availability, and the way that the NFL's COVID rules were, but you can't say it out loud. You can't say the quiet part out loud, and he did because he's a moron. I had an open competition for starting. We're not even to the juicy stuff yet. Open competition for starting quarterback between Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew. Minshew was later traded, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so Minshew Mania was over. They traded him away to the Eagles for like, what, a 6th-round pick? But they split first-team reps. So Trevor Lawrence, the guy that you knew that was going to be your week 1 starter, he only gets half the reps, even though every single rep he needed, because also he was coming off of a labrum surgery, I believe, on his non-throwing shoulder. So, yeah, genius move there as well. Didn't travel with the team. Oh, here's where we go. Didn't travel with the team after their week 4 loss to Cincinnati. Viral videos and photos emerge of him with a woman other than his wife. This is week 4, man. This was 1 month into the season. He should have been fired there. But the cons, Shad Khan has shown that he's an extremely patient owner. I mean, this is amazing, man. If you're a player on this team, how do you have any shred of respect for Urban Meyer? Like none. Reporters says he called his coaches losers. Argument with Marvin Jones. So that's what happened last week before they got woodshedded by the Tennessee Titans, and arguing with his coaches that he hired, by the way, arguing with players, and just it was a mess. He benched James Robinson. Oh yeah, multiple times, and my fantasy team thanks you. Yeah, your best running back on the team is like, I don't want him. I'm gonna play Carlos Hyde because Carlos played for me at the Ohio State University. Just wank. And apparently the thing that finished it, finish him, was the story that broke this week. Former kicker Josh Lambo goes on record and says Meyer once kicked him and told him, hey, dip poop, make your effing kicks. Which, if I'm Mike Zimmer, is like, why didn't I think of that? If I'm Mike Zimmer, I was like, man, I would have kicked Dan Bailey to the moon. Like, hey, one of these days, Dan Bailey, to the moon. That's right. And the icing on the cake, the 2-11 record. And that last thing is what did it. Because he could have had all of this mess. The chick at the bar, arguing with his coaches, arguing with players, benching your best player, and all this stuff. Kicking Josh Lambo. Like, he could have put Josh Lambo in a rear naked choke, tapped him out, and then completely beat the piss out of him, left him dead and dying on a street in Duval. If he was 11-2, he still got a job. They're like, it's just Urban being Urban. But, man, it's just insane. That's why too much emphasis is put on X's and O's when it comes to NFL head coaches. Because, he's good at coordinating one side of the ball. That means he'll be a good head coach. No, you need a true leader of men and a manager of egos, a manager of the game, etc. That's why you can't have this. You cannot have this. That's why. Yeah. But it is hilarious. It's hilarious. But Jaguars fans, they deserve better. They do. And now they got Darrell Bevell for 4 games. But so Darrell Bevell was the Lions' interim head coach after Matt Patricia got fired last year. Now Bevell's going to be interim head coach for 4 games. Over the last 2 years, he's coached 9 games. But over the last 2 years, he will have coached 9 games. Urban Meyer coached 13 in the NFL. That's amazing. That's kind of crazy, man. But, I mean, Jacksonville will be a pretty nice, pretty enticing job opening if you're a head coach. And also the change in the NFL coaching policy, hiring rules, maybe that prompted Shad Khan to fire them in season because you can interview coaches last 2 weeks of the season. But if you're like Brian Daboll or Bieniemy or Byron Leftwich, Byron Leftwich is going to the Jaguars, man. A former Jaguars number 7 overall selection. Was it 7 or 8? Doesn't matter. I think that was the Kevin Williams year. But yeah, Leftwich, OC of the Bucks, staying in state, going back to his former team. Woo! Can't script it better, man. So Leftwich, Jaguars. You got Trevor Lawrence. You got some fun pieces on offense. The defense plays hard, and they have some nice young pieces there. Josh Allen, the other one, is good. They have a top 5 pick. They have $70 million in cap space. So yeah, Duval should be back. Leftwich, no matter what. Anyways, what are your thoughts on our thoughts? Urban Meyer, he fired. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes and Urban Meyer takes. Let us know your Skull production value.